the dawn of time, mankind has always yearned for competition. Whether it's football or even a one-on-one game of badminton, people love to watch others compete for bragging rights, entertainment, and, well, mostly entertainment. Because these televised bouts are usually for professionals and high-level players. So it's only natural that in the digital realm, competitive gaming is born. Or esports as one would call it, eventually. But where did it all start from? How did it come to be? Well, let's dish out the facts. 1972. Stanford University was the first ever esports battleground for all players of all ages everywhere, where they compete in a game of competitive space war, with the grand prize being a year's subscription to long-running music magazine Rolling Stone. A far cry from the US $7 million a team could win in a worldwide major game series. But we had to start somewhere. The trend continued with another big name in video game history, Sega. Sega, a very popular video game name in the 80s, 90s, and even up to now. Before the Japanese company wowed the gaming world with its mascot platformer Sonic the Hedgehog and its 16-bit console marvel, the Sega Mega Drive, the company made waves in the arcade machines business and kept on the streak of competitive gaming in the early days. In 1974, in the era of arcade machines, Sega was at the top of the proverbial leaderboards in early esports. This is for the sake of the importance of such tournaments to foster better business relationships between the maker/location/customer and create an atmosphere of competition on TV amusement games. Already you can see the seeds being planted, but only blossoming partly through. It will make headway with the following game in 1978. Space Invaders, a 2D shoot-'em-up game from Taito with a simple concept: destroy all aliens before they reach the city, i.e. the ground. Space Invaders was so popular, it's made its way into pop culture and TV shows. Why? Because the game popularized the persistent high score system where everyone at the time competed to see who can get the highest score. To do so, you need to destroy the alien ships and survive as long as possible. And thus, high score chasing in the early 80s was commonplace when it came to Space Invaders. Old school esports, essentially. Still, it's hard to keep track of scores, especially official ones. So you need an official body to keep tabs on who the best players are and who owns the highest scores. How about the first bookkeeping and records holder in history? Way before the internet and apps could do all that, there needed to be an official score tally to keep track of the top players. Twin Galaxies was the first prominent company that had the job of keeping arcade score records from the late 70s onward. Televised esports also started off in the 80s. The first show that did this was USA's Starcade, which had contestants beat each other's high scores on an arcade game. Many other shows spawned from there on out. Competitive gaming had always been high score based, but in 1991, there was one game that brought the head-to-head aspect of the sport. A literal game changer, one might say. The 1 vs 1 fighting game genre came headway in 1991, thanks to the Capcom-created mega-hit arcade title Street Fighter II. With a varied roster of characters with different sets of skills and a versus setting, the fighting game genre was perfect for a competition. No more was there a need to keep track of high scores. Competing players just have to win matches by beating opponents in 2 out of 3 bouts. High score-based competitions were still big, with Nintendo capitalizing on this with the 1990 Nintendo World Championships. Way before Riot Games and Valve made big esports event splashes, Nintendo did so with this contest, with the finals being held at Universal Studios Hollywood in California. The finals even had a prestigious special edition cartridge with its own set of existing games, created just for competition use. Elsewhere in the realm of computer gaming, a competitive gaming storm was brewing. First-person shooters popularized by mega-hit id Software game Doom introduced the concept of LAN gaming, where players connected with each other with multiple PCs in the same room to play and compete against each other in competitive gaming. The term deathmatch was born, where the winner was determined by the player with the highest kill count. This was a combination of both Street Fighter's knockout mechanic and the scoring system set by arcade game competitions. The year 2000 onward is bigger, with the advent of PC gaming taking center stage. But that's a story for another time. Join us in the next episode as we talk about the big and bright future of esports.
In our first part of recapping the history of esports, we touched upon the 70s and 90s. But it was the 2000s onwards when the subsection of competitive gaming escalated far and beyond. During the 1997 Asian financial crisis, one country, somehow, turned its misfortune around: South Korea. It was during that time when all the PC cybercafes made a couple of ingenious folks create a serious organization that standardizes esports up to today. Enter the Korean Esports Association. Their mission was to standardize and legitimize esports, bringing structure and professionalism to the competitive gaming scene. With their efforts, esports in South Korea began to gain recognition and support from both players and sponsors. In fact, it was the Minister of Culture, Sports and Tourism, Park Ji-won, who coined the term esports during the founding ceremony for the Korean Esports Association. In 1998, one game in particular played a pivotal role in catapulting esports to new heights in South Korea. Enter Blizzard Entertainment's StarCraft, a real-time strategy game with a huge sci-fi slant, captivated the nation with its deep strategy, intense battles, and intricate balance between three unique factions. StarCraft became a cultural phenomenon, dominating PC bangs across the country. The game's popularity transcended casual play, and soon professional teams emerged, battling it out in prestigious tournaments. The success of StarCraft as an esport in South Korea caught the attention of the gaming world. Its explosive growth set a new precedent, and other countries, mainly in Europe, took notice and used games like Counter-Strike, as Europeans preferred the first-person shooter genre. Meanwhile, in the United States, a different type of competitive gaming was beginning to make new waves. In the States, first-person shooters had evolved from LAN parties to organized competitions, and one game in particular stood out: Halo. In 2006, the Major League Gaming MLG circuit introduced a televised tournament featuring Halo. Players showcased their skills in intense matches, and the thrilling action attracted a growing fanbase. This marked a significant milestone as it brought competitive gaming into the living rooms of viewers across the nation. This was also the same year a group formed by the top-tier Counter-Strike teams formed a G7 Teams Federation to increase stability in the esports world. This included standardizing player transfers and how communication between leagues and organizations was and still is sorted. In the years that followed, there was also a new kind of game class that spawned from the real-time strategy genre: the multiplayer online battle arena, or MOBA for short. In 2003, a bunch of modders made a modified game called Defense of the Ancients out of the base game of Warcraft 3: Reign of Chaos. That game was the talk of the town for Asia and eventually the rest of the world. In 2009, a company named Riot Games made their own MOBA title with their own in-game engine. It was called League of Legends. These two franchises will eventually take center stage in esports, but not without one major catalyst. 2006 saw the launch of a new live streaming site called Justin TV. Launched by Justin Kan and his team as a platform for live streaming various content, it started as a 24/7 live stream of Justin Kan's life. Recognizing the growing popularity of gaming and esports, Justin TV expanded to include gaming streams, providing a space for gamers to showcase their skills and connect with an audience in real time. The platform quickly gained a dedicated following of both viewers and streamers. Come 2011, Justin TV launches Twitch.tv as a separate entity, focusing solely on gaming-related live streams and creating a vibrant community around it. Everything changed there for esports. We are talking massive, game-changing, whatever adjectives you want to cram in. Twitch became the go-to platform for esports enthusiasts, offering a wide range of content, from professional tournaments to casual gameplay and even interactive chat features. Its user-friendly interface and robust infrastructure allowed millions of viewers to tune in and engage with their favorite esports events and personalities. Esports tournaments streamed on Twitch reached unprecedented levels of viewership, even surpassing traditional television broadcasts. The platform's interactive chat and emotes culture added an extra layer of engagement, creating a sense of community among esports fans worldwide. With Twitch as the leading streaming platform, esports transcended the limitations of television and reached a global audience like never before. How big was it? Find out more in the next episode. In the past few episodes, we've seen how esports and competitive gaming have grown from a college science lab with Space War to being broadcast on national television. As the early 2010s progressed, esports continued to flourish, with Twitch serving as its primary broadcasting platform. But a gaming platform for competitive showcases can only go so far without major game publishers backing it up with solid games. Games that have huge communities, easy to learn but hard to master team-based mechanics, and simple to follow action on screen. Luckily for us, there was one Goliath company that spearheaded the genre that would dominate esports' viewership for the next few years: Riot Games. In 2009, Riot released a game that would tick all of the boxes for a successful broadcasting esport: League of Legends. League of Legends is a MOBA or multiplayer online battle arena, a rival to Dota and its 2012 sequel Dota 2. The then young title would take a good number of years for League to find its success through its competitions and broadcasting. In 2012, years after its 2009 debut, viewership finally skyrocketed, specifically with the 2012 League of Legends World Championship totaling 8.2 million views for the tournament playoffs and finals. Not even the biggest stadiums in the world could hold that much of a crowd for that weekend. This newfound exposure helped fuel the exponential growth of esports, attracting more investment, larger prize pools, and mainstream recognition. No sport can survive for long without hallmark moments that transcend its niche. Like with football, baseball, and basketball, you have iconic moments like 1974's The Rumble in the Jungle, 1980's Miracle on Ice, or even names like Michael Jordan to be ingrained into pop culture. For esports, we have moments like Evo Moment 37. In a nutshell, this iconic moment in esports happened in 2004's Evolution Championship tournament, where one player, Daigo Umehara, made an unexpected comeback by parrying all 15 consecutive hits made by his opponent Justin Wong, all while in very low health. Not only did this and a couple more make fighting games in esports still relevant, both players have seen much success and recognition in their lives due to this important part in gaming history. Other iconic esports moments include the face of European League of Legends, Xpeke's unforgettable backdoor play at IEM Katowice in 2013, CSGO's greatest player of all time, Simple, with his iconic double no-scope at ESL 1 Cologne in 2016, and the opening of the 2017 League of Legends World Championship featuring a virtual Elder Dragon. Yeah, that last one isn't quite tactical play, but it's still an important esports moment as it shows that these broadcasts and offline events are just as big as your National Olympics or big-name musician concerts. From then on, the template for esports has been set. The games may come and go, but the live streams and offline aspects still remain. How about on the educational side of things? Do colleges and universities recognize esports as more than just people playing games? The answer is yes they do. This particular subgenre of sport has been legitimized and recognized by universities and educational bodies across the globe. In 2013 onward, universities and colleges in the United States such as Robert Morris University, Illinois, and the University of Pikeville have recognized esports players as varsity-level athletes and offer athletic scholarships. In 2018, Harrisburg University of Science and Technology began a tuition scholarship program for esports players, with more schools worldwide following suit. Speaking of 2018, we once again saw viewership hit an all-time high, with the 2018 League of Legends World Championship becoming the most watched esports event in history, reaching a peak of over 200 million concurrent viewers during the finals. Today, esports is still going on. Even with major worldwide pandemics putting a curb onto esports' offline prospects, it was but only temporary. With titles like Riot Games' Valorant, Capcom's Street Fighter VI, and the upcoming Counter-Strike sequel keeping the competitive scene fresh, the well isn't going to dry up anytime soon. It might be overflowing, but with new initiatives and programs that help get new players into the fold, competitive gaming is here to stay for a good while.